If you've applied for NSFAS and you're wondering whether you've been approved, why your status hasn't changed, what a status like verification or evaluation actually means, or why you've been approved but still haven't received any money, this video is for you. I'm going to show you every official way to check your NSFAS status, explain what each status means, and tell you exactly what you should do next at every stage of the process. Before we begin, make sure you have your South African ID number available. If you already have a My NSFAS account, you'll also need your username and password. If you don't have a My NSFAS account yet, don't worry. I'll explain how to access your application information and what to do if you've forgotten your login details. Let's start with the most important and most reliable method, the official My NSFAS portal. The My NSFAS portal is your personal NSFAS account, where you can apply for funding, upload documents, update your information, and track your application status. Open your internet browser and go to my.nsfas.org.za. Make sure you're using the official NSFAS website. Once you're on the My NSFAS website, click Login and enter your username and password. After signing in, you'll arrive at your student dashboard. Look for an option called Track Funding Progress, Application Status, or Funding Status. Click that option and your current NSFAS application status should appear on the screen. This is usually the fastest way to see the latest update on your application. If you've forgotten your password, click the Forgot Password option on the login page. Follow the prompts to reset your password using the cell phone number or email address linked to your account. If you've changed your phone number or no longer have access to your email address, you may need to contact NSFAS support for assistance before you can access your account again. If the My NSFAS portal is unavailable, loading slowly, or you're using a mobile phone, you can also check your status using the official NSFAS WhatsApp service. Save the number 078-519-8006 to your contacts. Open WhatsApp, start a conversation with that number, and send the word Hi. A menu will appear with several options for NSFAS services. Select the option related to application status or funding status. The system may ask for your South African ID number. Enter the requested information and wait for the response. Within a few moments, NSFAS should return your latest application status. This method is convenient because it works directly from your phone without requiring you to log into the My NSFAS portal. Another option is the NSFAS USSD service. This is particularly useful if you have a basic cell phone or limited internet access. Dial 120-67327# from your phone and follow the instructions displayed on your screen. You may be asked to enter your ID number or other identifying information before your status can be retrieved. NSFAS also provides the My NSFAS mobile application. You can search for the My NSFAS app in the Google Play Store and install it on your Android device. Once installed, sign in using the same username and password you use for the My NSFAS portal. After logging in, navigate to your dashboard where you'll be able to view your current funding status and application progress. Now that you know how to check your NSFAS status, let's discuss what those statuses actually mean. Many students panic when they see a status they don't recognize, but most statuses simply indicate that your application is moving through the normal NSFAS review process. Understanding these statuses can help you avoid unnecessary stress and know when action is required. The first status most applicants see is Application Submitted. This means NSFAS has successfully received your application. This is a positive sign because it confirms your application entered the NSFAS system. At this stage, there is usually nothing you need to do, except wait for NSFAS to begin processing your application and monitor your account regularly for updates. The next status is Filtering. During filtering, NSFAS performs initial checks on your application. This includes confirming your citizenship, checking that your ID number is valid, and ensuring that your application contains the required information. In most cases, students do not need to take any action during this stage unless NSFAS contacts them for clarification. If your application moves to validation, NSFAS is now comparing your information with records from government departments and other institutions. This stage helps confirm that the details you submitted are accurate and consistent. Validation is a normal part of the process and usually requires no action from the student unless NSFAS specifically requests additional information. One of the most common statuses students ask about is verification. This means NSFAS is reviewing your personal information, supporting documents, and financial details. If your application remains on verification for several weeks, don't immediately assume there's a problem. Verification can take time, especially when NSFAS is processing a large number of applications. If NSFAS needs additional documents while your application is in verification, you'll normally receive a notification through your My NSFAS account, email, or SMS. If this happens, submit the requested documents as quickly as possible. Delays in providing requested information can slow down the processing of your application and postpone a final funding decision. After verification, many applications move to evaluation. During evaluation, NSFAS assesses whether you meet the funding requirements. This includes reviewing financial eligibility and other criteria established by NSFAS. Students often remain on evaluation for several weeks. As long as your status continues progressing, there is generally no reason to panic. If your status changes to funding eligibility, this is usually a good sign. It means NSFAS has determined that you qualify for funding based on their assessment criteria. However, this does not necessarily mean funding has been finalized or that money will be paid immediately. Several additional steps may still need to be completed before payments begin. Another positive status is provisionally funded. This means NSFAS intends to fund your studies, but final confirmation is still required. In many cases, NSFAS is waiting for your university or TVET college to provide registration information. Students often misunderstand this status and assume funding is complete, but additional administrative checks may still be outstanding. If your status says awaiting registration, NSFAS is waiting for your institution to confirm that you have registered for your program. If you have not yet registered, complete your registration as soon as possible. If you have already registered and your status remains unchanged for an extended period, contact your institution and ask whether your registration information has been submitted to NSFAS. The status every student wants to see is approved. This means NSFAS has approved your funding application. However, approval does not automatically mean that money will arrive in your account the next day. There are still payment processes, registration confirmations, and administrative procedures that must be completed before allowances can be dispersed. One of the most common questions students ask is, "My NSFAS application is approved, so where is my money?" After approval, your institution must confirm your registration details. NSFAS then finalizes your funding allocation, processes tuition payments, prepares allowance payments, and schedules disbursement. Depending on timing and institutional processes, this can take days or sometimes weeks. When your status changes to disbursement, NSFAS is actively processing payments. Tuition payments are generally made directly to your institution, while allowances are processed according to the payment method being used for students. If your status says disbursement but you haven't received funds yet, continue monitoring your account and payment information while processing is completed. Unfortunately, some students receive a rejected or unsuccessful status. This means NSFAS has determined that you do not currently qualify for funding. Common reasons include household income exceeding the NSFAS threshold, missing documentation, incorrect information, or failure to meet eligibility requirements. However, a rejection does not always mean the end of the process. If you believe your application was rejected incorrectly, you may be eligible to submit an appeal. Log into your My NSFAS account and check whether the appeal option is available. Read the reason for the rejection carefully and provide any supporting documentation that strengthens your case. Always submit appeals before the published NSFAS appeal deadline. Another common concern is a status that seems stuck for months. Many students report remaining on verification, evaluation, or awaiting registration for extended periods. In many cases, this is caused by high application volumes, verification backlogs, document reviews, or delays in registration data being submitted by institutions. Continue checking your account regularly and respond promptly to any requests from NFAS. To summarize, the NSFAS journey usually follows this path: application submitted, filtering, validation, verification, evaluation, funding eligibility, provisionally funded, awaiting registration, approved, and finally disbursement. Understanding these stages helps you know exactly where your application stands and what action, if any, you need to take at each point in the process.